Well, there's some things in this world that are not the way they're supposed to be. There's
Only
some things
people
in
in
this world
church.
that are just enough to make a strong man cry out with the Cripes and a come on, you got to be kidding me. And I am super excited about the ride on today. I mean, I am thrilled out of my mind. I can't quit. I've been busting with it all day. So we've got to but before one cheers, one has to lament. You have to have both sides of the coin. You got to have a yin and a yang.
A formula? Is that
Yes, there's totally a formula to rejoicing. You start with the Cripes and a come on, and you got to be kidding me.
I have been thinking about this
and then you
this
come
week.
into the right on.
I have been wondering about
you experience the
criticism.
You experience the full range of human emotions.
It's starting to work on me.
Like it would make someone yell out a perfectly good Cripes. When you realize that starting today, people are going to be complaining on Facebook that Facebook changed its news feed.
Why do people waste?
I mean, look, of course they're going to change the frickin' news feed.
Do whatever they want.
Yeah, it's what like it's perfect. It kind of landed. But
like
I'm telling you,
people complaining about
they're
winter.
No, it's not at all like complaining about winter.
How is it different?
Because if you don't complain about winter, you never have a chance to say to somebody, you don't have to hurt just to go outside. The outside shouldn't take your life. It shouldn't have to be this way. Someday, it's not going to be like this. Change, that's not the same thing. Winter's not change. Winter is unredeemed pain and destruction.
I don't know if your argument doesn't have sense or if my brain's just not working.
No,
right.
It's the difference between change. Change is normal.
Okay.
Yeah. Pain is not. Someone smacks you in the face. You don't go, hey, don't complain about it. It's just a change of state. No. Winter is a smack in the face. Facebook, on the other hand.
All right.
People complaining about that ridiculous. The come on goes out to the fact that my wireless keyboards and my wireless computer, when wireless stuff doesn't work, it makes me crazy.
Really?
Oh, just makes me, come on. It's when you depend on something and it doesn't work, makes you crazy. I just want to get right to the right on here, though. And then you got to be kidding me?
Yeah.
Gun shops, as it turns out. Gun shops. I mean, these gun people. I don't want to be on guns all the time. I don't. But ammo dealers say that the national debate on gun control has sparked a frenzy, and they can't keep up with the ammunition.
Yeah, they're running out.
They're running out of ammunition. People are out buying more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially for handguns.
We should. Yeah.
Especially for handguns. Drive me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just there's no rhyme. There's no reason. To me, it makes you crazy. But
some things in life are not quite right.
Like those things in winter.
Some things are right.
Like this. And the right on this week goes out to Adam Davidson. Adam Davidson is a reporter for NPR News, and Adam Davidson works on one of their featured shows called Planet Money, which I've really come to enjoy.
Yes.
And Adam Davidson knows what he's talking about. Adam Davidson has asked the people at NPR to rethink about this big deal that was happening this week about the stock market. Remember all the stuff about the stock markets hit record highs?
Dow
Well,
Jones.
Adam Davidson has finally said, look, this whole obsession with the stock market doesn't make sense, and for a couple of reasons. One, you're not supposed to be day trading anyway, so who cares? Secondly, it's not even all that high because it doesn't.
You mean people shouldn't be day trading because they should be sitting on their stocks?
That's how most people. That's how most people who've
buy
been
'em
lied
and
to.
let 'em
Most
sit
people
there.
have been lied to about being in the stock market. The big fat lie that they've all bought is hold on to it because over 100 years it's going to make you a lot of money. The thing hasn't even been around for 100 years when they said that. You know, 100-year average, really? Like a year ago, or 5 years ago, 12 years ago, because you're like 120 years into this thing?
Like we really know
It's
what's
the
gonna
biggest
happen.
boondoggle. Anyway, but then he says, and they don't adjust for inflation. But here's the right on that he gets. Then he says, and I'm going to play the little clip from NPR. And then he says, look, 80% of the stocks in the stock market are owned by 10% of the richest people.
Yeah.
So when the stock market goes up,
It helps
all
a few
that
people.
does is help the super wealthy become a little bit more rich. And when people think, I'm going to put my money in the stock market because I want to go, what you're doing is they're using your money to build their own wealth. This is another way that the super rich have caused other people to become their firewood. It's I've been hawking on the friggin' stock market for years because it doesn't make sense. And now Adam Davidson has this little bit, so we're gonna give him the right on. He's gonna play it, and I'm gonna cheer over it.
Oh, good.
It's not the measure we should be paying attention to.
Okay, well, if it's not the measure we should be paying attention to, what is?
There are, as I mentioned, a handful of indexes that do a much better job, like the S&P 500
Okay, so he's
or
going to
the
make this
Wilshire
little argument
5000.
that there's these other
But the thing
things
is,
you could
only
listen to.
a tiny percentage of Americans should be watching the stock market on a day-to-day or certainly an hour-by-hour basis. About half of Americans own stocks, but the vast majority of us should not look at it more than once a year, maybe once a quarter. We know Charles Dow himself only looked at the Dow Jones Index once every few months.
And people look at the Dow, they look at the index as if somehow it means that the economy's doing better, or that their own stock portfolios are doing better.
And it doesn't indicate a health of our economy.
No, and I'm not even going to get into the whole notion of something for nothing, which is what the stock market's built around.
Yeah.
You put in a little bit of money and get a lot of money out, and people are like, well, I don't know why that didn't work. Yeah. It's because the world doesn't work that way.
That is, we should just be buying and holding and not getting very excited about any one day's movement.
If you're going to be in the stock market at all. But I just don't,
it's
a moral issue.
It doesn't say what we're...
but the crucial thing...
It doesn't indicate that we're doing better or worse.
No,
it
not at
doesn't
all.
indicate very much about anything at all about most of our lives.
No, it's
And so
how do the
why do we
people
hold
who've
it-
convinced you that you should pool your money in with their money so that they can boost their money, how are they doing?
Yeah.
And it is, I'm not just making this up. It is the most elite that are going to make all the money off. 80% of it is owned by 10, which means that 20% of the value of the stock market is owned by the other 90%.
Yes.
You think you're getting...
You're not getting much.
Oh, my gosh.
Thing is, no matter how great
This
the
is where it
measure of the
gets
stock
great,
market
though.
you're using is, all it tells you is how the stock market is doing.
Right.
Yes.
And that is not a proxy for the health of the overall
And
economy.
this is where I start
And
singing
it does seem, Adam, that
Hallelujah.
we've seen, even when corporate profits are great, the rest of the economy doesn't necessarily follow suit.
In fact,
Right.
we see that the stock market often goes up exactly when unemployment goes up, which is something most of us do not celebrate, do not think is a great thing.
Because that's when companies are making more profits because they don't have to have as many employees, because employees in many of these companies
They cost
are
money.
a cost. And if they can reduce costs, you can make more money. So this
Especially
whole
if they want
obsession
things
and the
like
fact that it gets
healthcare.
sold in college funds, it gets sold to people at work where they don't even think about it anymore. We're being played, people. We're being played, and Adam Davidson is telling the truth.
And
The stock market really only has a loose correlation with things like inflation, the overall growth of the economy, the things that really matter to us.
And here we go.
More crucially, for the last generation, the last 30 years or so, I'd say the central issue in the U.S. economy is that for all the economic growth we've had, that has gone, rather famously now, to a very tiny percentage of the very richest Americans. And it's important to note that 80% or so of stocks are owned by the richest 10% of Americans. So if you're measuring the stock market well, and if it does reach a historic high, then all you're celebrating is the fact that the top 10% got a little bit richer. And I'm not convinced that's something that the media needs to be running around celebrating.
Okay.
Ah, it's glorious. Finally, Adam Davidson. Finally, NPR.
And it makes
In
you
the
wonder
pocket
how
of
many
Wall
other
Street, in the
times
pocket of the tycoons, in the pocket of the back breakers of the Americans of the American heart.
And it invites us all to think: when are we focusing on the wrong things? When are we using an indicator to suggest something to us that isn't at all what really matters? What really matters is indicated by other things, and we all need to try to be
Yes,
mindful of that.
yeah, for sure. Like as a good general rule,
Yeah.
that's an important thing to do, and especially on the stock market.
Especially there.
I mean, it's all tied into the tomfoolery, to the trickery, to the profiteers. And people don't know it. They literally don't know. They think, well, I'm vested in the stock market, and the stock market's doing better,
or it
so I'm
gets them
doing
a little
better.
bit, so they say, okay.
Oh, only until the 10% decide they want to do something with their 80% of their wealth, and then they move on it, and then the stock markets. You don't get something for nothing. Right on, Adam Davidson, right on Dyke Badger Radio, and we'll be back next week. with all the good news of all the I'm just gloating. It's ridiculous. Finally,
You are
finally
even a
feel vindicated. I
rosy
felt like I was
color
like
to
this
your cheeks.
crazy communist out there, and I'm not. I just
You're
don't think
not.
the stock market's capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
I
think
I can't knock the smirk off my face.
I wish you guys have to check out the YouTube video, see the glow emanating from
yes,
Doug.
and I didn't do a good job of changing the scene on the YouTube video. But anyway,
That's
hey,
all
thanks
right.
for listening to Doug Pagitt Radio. We'll be back next week live from the Peace Still Studios
ya.
around the world and even on the space station. Bye.